I guess you can start up and down there if you need to, but it's 20 seconds.
It's 11, so I gotta start. Hi everybody, my name's Kim. We are just starting for Pilates. I'm sorry to jump on right at 11 today. Our internet is acting kind of funky. I don't know if it's all the wind or what. So I have my IT guy who's gonna hopefully keep an eye on it from downstairs, but if you find that things aren't working on your end or it's, I don't know, whatever happening, just try to flood the comments. I am a little ways back, so I'll try to keep an eye on the screen, but there is a delay up here from where I am at the loft with this setup that my husband set up. So it gives us a better picture quality, but it makes it a little bit tricky for me to know like who's here and when you're here. Hi Kim. So just to give you the heads up. So if there is a problem, I will come back as soon as I see any notice for it. So we're gonna start. Just a quick heads up, if you have a mat, feel free to grab it. If you don't, just make sure you're on a little bit of a softer surface. If you're on wood floor, grab a beach towel or something like that. A hand towel is always a great option for under knees or hips. We are doing some kneeling and some side lying, so you may want to grab something if you find that those pressure points are a little bit more painful. And then our disclaimer, just a heads up that obviously I can't see you. I would love to be able to see you, but I can't, so I'm sure you can actually see this. So unfortunately, I am not able to correct you. I wish so much that we were practicing together, but we're not right now. So until we are, this is the best thing that we can do. So just please be mindful of your body. Hi, Mom. Oh, good. So be mindful of your body, how you're moving, how things are feeling. Please don't push it further than your comfortable limit. Pay attention to your range of motion. Obviously, with your, hi, Lisa. Obviously, with the type of stress that our bodies are under right now, we are performing differently. We're doing a lot more sitting. We're doing a lot of just like kind of laying around, I'm sure. So we're finding, like last week, we had a lot of tension within our hips. Hopefully we alleviated a lot of that. But I want to continue to be mindful of those sore joints, of things that like may not move the same that they typically do in a normal class setting. So just be mindful of your body, what you need, and don't push it too far. I'm going to be also reminding you throughout the class about breath work. I'm going to stand up. I don't know how well you can see me. So with the breath work, we talked in the past about breathing outwards. So quickly before we begin, I want you to be mindful of how you do breathe. It is really cold out today, so I'm hoping that we can just increase the heat pretty quick. Hi, Vilda and Luke. So with doing that, we're going to just kind of jump right in, but I want you to be mindful of your breath. So where the breath lands and expanding. So not just, normal breaths in and out. It's Pilates. So breathing like an umbrella, breathing wide to the front and the back as well, especially into your back. So taking those big breaths in and out and just taking up space. You'll hear me say that a bunch. One more thing is, because I'm teaching through a computer, some of the moves that you're doing, you're going to be kind of like turning the head and trying to pay attention to what's happening. I want you to avoid that at all costs, maybe stopping, looking at the screen, and then performing the move, just to be mindful of the neck. I don't want you to tweak the neck and kind of like hurt yourself any more than, obviously, anyone needs right now. So just be mindful of your neck, always elongating that spine and bracing your core. All right, if you're ready, I think we're going to begin. So come onto your mats. I hope you can see me okay. I never know. This is all like, I feel like I should be used to this after, 8 weeks, but it feels weird every time. So I want you to just find a strong, steady footing before we do anything. So finding that neutral pelvis, a little tuck through the tailbone, stacking through the ankles, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, everything nice in line here. Now take a minute, roll the shoulders back, and just find that breath to begin. And if you need to hold on to the rib cage, the belly, to just focus on where you're breathing and try to breathe a little bit more sideways. Try that. So just taking some big breaths in and out and just feeling the expansion, okay? So we're building our heat internally because it's so cold outside. So taking another big breath in, just starting to just bring a little bit more warmth and then letting it go. So with the tuck of the tailbone, we're going to start coming into almost like that intense pose or almost like a squat position. So the knees will be relatively over those ankles, taking the bum a little bit further back. And you may need to come a little bit closer to the top of the mat because we're going to step back into a lunge position. Shoulders are still nice and wide. And we're going to start with the hands right on the hips to just get used to just bracing that core and use the hands. Be handsy. It's okay. Touch yourself. See how it feels. See where you need to hold the pose, maybe where you need to brace the core a little bit more. we're gonna shift our weight into our back leg to start. Take your front leg and take it back into almost like a lunge position. Heel will stay up. And we're not in that true like squat lunge, but we are still tipping forward right at the waist, nice long spine. And bring the foot in with a gentle tap. Good. Now again, pressing behind and coming back in. Just taking this, opening up the leg, waking up the hips, you'll see right away that we're focusing a lot on lengthening the legs today. So we did a lot of hip work last week. I want to continue that and expand and stretch. So thinking about one long movement, not just from the hip to the foot, but all the way from the shoulder straight down. Adding in a little bit of arm work, we'll stretch long and curl in. So pulling the shoulders back, taking those elbows, reaching them behind, squeezing through the back body. Now begin to sink a little bit more into that bent leg. And already, hopefully, you're increasing that breath, that heat's coming. Take 2 more. Last one, stay nice and long here. We're gonna take the arms and the leg up. So reaching and down. Staying within that bent leg and finding a little bit of a point through the back toe, but almost like the natural. You're not gripping through the toes, you're just kind of reaching naturally. Taking the arms, pulling them back in line with the ears. Take 2 more. Last one. Toe will touch down. Now hinge at the waist. Nice long spine here. Dipping forward. And then squeezing the bum, coming back up. So really reaching through the fingers. I'm already breathing heavy. Let's not go that anymore. So stay with that bend. Good, hopefully you're feeling that standing bum. And last one here. Good, hands come back to the hips, step in. Give that nice leg that was holding you up a little shake, and then start to take it back. When you're ready, stepping in and out. Good, so staying within that softness. You may find one leg's a little easier to balance on. Totally normal. Finding your breath. Breathing just like a big umbrella. Take 2 more like this. Then we'll add in the arms. Pulling down and reach. Focusing on the breath. Good. Expanding. Taking up space. Keeping the gaze right to the front of that mat, maybe the opposite wall. Take 2 more. Last one. Leg and arm stay out. Reach and drop. So almost like a little warrior 3 here. Tiny squeeze through the glute. And that length, not just from the hip, but all the way from the shoulder down. We are going to grow taller. 2 more. Last one, touching down, tipping at the waist. Squeezing through that pump. Nice long spine. Man, the wind is howling. And last one here. Good, taking the legs together, give them both a nice big shake. We're gonna take arms to the sky and slowly roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Reaching your way down with a flat back or curling through the spine. I just realized I'm way more into flow than I was into Pilates in that move. So take your legs nice and back and find your way to a pike, otherwise known as a down dog. Now we're gonna walk through the feet just for a minute, just feeling the length of the legs and the length of the arms. And then when you're ready, press evenly between the hands and really tuck the shoulder blades down the back, bring the tailbone to the sky. Now, shifting the weight again into that back leg to start, we'll take our front leg nice and long and lift it up right at the hip and then closing it down. Now, I want you to be mindful of this movement, trying to keep the hips lined up to the floor. So not externally rotating, not taking that hip and opening it up and showing your hip. I want you to keep it facing right to the floor. So you'll find the lift isn't as high, and that's okay. Really squeeze through the bum to come up and lower down. Taking 1 more like this. We'll start to shift our weight forward, squeezing the legs together in a 3-leg plank. Good. Now shift the weight back, let the leg come nice and high. Again, be mindful, eyes together as you drop the leg down. Good, and think about lowering through the bum. Take 2 more. All right, on the next one, when we squeeze, we're gonna take that knee, bringing it up to a firefly, so reaching towards the elbow. Now, option here, to stay here, just bring the leg back, or add in a little fancy bear crouch. The back knee comes down and the leg reaches long. Good, so you're coming in and squatting. You can drop to the knee if you need, and always shift forward, just leaving that back knee down. If that challenge option's there, keep that knee elevated just a tiny bit. Find the breath. I told you we're going right into it today, bringing that heat. Take 2 more. Last one. Instead of taking that knee back, I want you to plant the foot down, finding a nice long lunge here. Back leg is going to dip, knee towards the floor, raise up. Good. So the chest is square right over that knee in the front, and you're just dropping the knee and squeezing the hamstring to lift and lower. Good, stay here. Nice little stretch break. And 1 more. Good, press yourself all the way back to that down dog again, and take a minute, walk the dog. Slow down the breath. I need to take my own advice. Take 1 more big breath. Now back to the top, same as before, but this time we'll start with the back leg. We're gonna take it and just lift and lower. Be mindful of the spine, that it stays nice and long here. And again, pay attention to that hip, that it continues to face the floor and doesn't rotate up. Good, big long leg. And avoid gripping through the toes. So not totally to that ballerina foot. Stay here. Last one like this, then we'll add in the squeeze through the thighs as we shift ourselves forward. Good, and reach back. Now you'll find the spine should stay nice and long. We're avoiding that rolling action. We want to continue to drop right in with a nice long spine, nice long legs. Really bracing the core as you roll through. Rotating the chest. Last one, taking that leg, we'll pull it up, finding that firefly position. Remember, you have the option to touch to the knee or come to that bear crouch if you'd like. Uh-oh, did everything just stop? Hang on. I don't know if you have a video right now. Do you guys? You did lose me. All right, hang on. Hold on, guys. I don't know how to do this. Sean!
The internet just keeps going out.
Sorry. I don't know if they can hear me.
No,
They're so commenting.
It keeps going out. Stop. Go away. I think you're back.
Oh, no.
Sorry, our internet is really
Are you
flaky.
there? I see, it's so confusing because it shows me.
You should be back. I'll check.
Okay. Hi, guys. I don't even know if this is working, but Sean's going to pay attention. I am so sorry.
Our internet putting in
Our internet is hating this weather, so we're going to come back to that firefly on the back leg. I think that might have been right around where you lost me. I'm hoping you're back. I have no idea. My video's so far behind, so let's try again. Okay. All right, so coming back to that down dog position, back leg is going to come into that firefly, and then we'll crouch through the front knee. Remember, you have the option to drop down to that table if you'd like. So keep bringing it in, finding that crouch, reaching through the back leg. Taking 2 more. Hopefully you were doing this the whole time the internet went out. And then last one. Now take that knee up, bringing the foot right underneath the knee with a nice long lunge. Back knee will reach down and press up. Continue lifting through the belly here, feeling that strength through the back body. Good, 2 more. And last one. We're gonna come back, hopefully you're still with me, and come to a child's pose, that shell stretch. So knees will be nice and wide, toes together, and then press yourself back. Lost the video feed. I hope you're back. I have no idea. So pressing into that child's pose, just taking a minute here. And then when you're ready, round through the spine and press up to a tabletop position. So the hands will touch down right underneath the shoulders, the knees right underneath the hips. Now I want you to pull the belly into the spine and feel a nice long length there. I don't see anything, so we're gonna keep going. All right, take a minute, roll through the spine, pressing up, finding that cat-cow stretch. Just releasing the shoulders a little bit, slowing down the breath. Taking one more. And then find that neutral, the halfway between the both. So we're pressing the knees down, bracing the belly, and pulling it up into the spine. Shoulders are also down. Now I want you to focus on the front leg. Take that leg, and again, pressing out with the foot, pull back in. So you're just dragging that leg nice and long on the mat and pulling back under. Try to avoid shifting through the shoulders, the hands. Good, stay nice and long through the spine. Stay with this little drag and pull. Take two more like this. Next time when the leg comes long, I want you to hold here. Again, just like before when we were in that down dog, we'll lift and lower. So keeping the hips and shoulders nice and square, stillness within the back body. You're just lifting and engaging that hip, squeezing through the back body, posterior chain. Good, lifting and lowering. Good. Taking one more. When leg's nice and long, flex the foot and we're gonna press to the sky, lowering and lifting. Stay with that. Take two more like this. Last one with a nice big bend through the knee. Now we're going to external rotate that knee. So take the knee, pulling it in towards the elbow. See the lift, that shift through the chest? Now rotate back again, squaring the chest, the knee towards the floor. Good, now again, come through, rotating through. Good, and shifting back. So trying to keep the weight as evenly distributed between the hands as you can. Just opening up and closing that hip. Come back through. Stay here. And one more. Good. When the knee circles around to the front this time, I want you to take the leg nice and long to the front of the room. Now we'll lift and lower. Again, pay attention to the hips, keep them nice and square towards the floor. So really pull that belly button as much as you can into the spine. Press evenly between the hands and that back knee that's down, and just lift up, tiny little lifts, up and down. Good, keep that belly pulled in nice and tight. Two more. Last one. Take that leg, rotating it around, finding that pull behind. We're gonna dip the chest a little bit in front of the hands, bending through the elbows. Find that three-legged push-up, squaring through the hips. I feel that strength. Take two more. Last one. As you lower down, come all the way to the floor and roll to your side. So the leg that was lifted is going to be on the top here. Now I want you to find the side body, really engaging the core. Rest the head right on the arm here, so it's a nice little pillow. And the spine stays nice and long from the head all the way through the tailbone. Now, take a minute to brace the obliques and see if you can find that lift through the side body here. Stacking through the shoulders, stacking through the feet. We're gonna begin by just lifting our toes, our legs off the mat. So taking that top leg, lifting it up and lowering it down. So you're really thinking about moving through motion, moving through some resistance. We don't have weights on our legs. We don't have the added, benefit of working through Jello or anything like that. So think about just putting on that motion, putting on that resistance within the inner thigh as you drop and raise, and the external thigh as you lift and lower. Good. Stay here. Keep lifting through the side body. Taking one more, holding that leg up. We'll take the bottom leg, lifting it up and lowering it down. You'll find it won't connect with the top, and that's okay. I don't want it to. I don't want it to lift so high that you lose your form. Good, stay with this lift in that lower. Take 2 more. Last one, hold that bottom leg up. Take the top leg, tap it down towards the bottom, lifting up. Good, so you're meeting it halfway. You're coming all the way down, connect, and raise up. Hopefully you're feeling this. I know I am. Take that side body, really tucking it in. Take 2 more. Last one, both legs will lower and both legs will lift together. You'll find it's not as high of a lift because we're cementing those legs together like a mermaid tail. Come up and down. 2 more. Last one, touch down, good. Now taking that arm that's laying in front of us that we're laying on, I want you to come to a propped position. Perfect. So elbow is relatively underneath that shoulder, whatever feels right to you. And you may find you need to kind of roll it back because we are actually rolling onto our back a little bit. I'd say we're rolling onto one butt cheek. So the hip that was down, rolling onto that butt cheek, and we're going to lift up here through the legs, lowering down. Now, if that doesn't quite feel right, you have the option to come through with a flexed knee and just lift up this way. So kind of just bringing a little bit less, length through the leg. I'm losing all my words today. So staying with this lift and this lower, take 2 more. Last one, holding up here if that feels right. If not, maybe hold that top leg if you need to. Take the bottom leg, dropping it down and lowering. Now stay out of collapsing into that shoulder here. Keep lifting up, widening through the chest. Take 2 more. Now hold it that halfway, take the top one, dropping it down, lifting up. Keep bracing through the belly, pulling those obliques nice and tight. Good, I hope that leg's shaking, mine is too. Take 2 more. Last one, both legs lower down towards the floor. Now we're going to switch sides, starting in that tabletop position. For me, I'm gonna change sides though so you can see me a little bit better. I just wanna peek. There is comments, I'm afraid to touch things. I don't know if I'm gonna mess it up, but there's a lot of comments, so I just wanna make sure everything's, we're back, we can hear you. Okay, there is a big delay, so that's good to know. I have no idea where you are. So we're just gonna keep going. All right, coming to that tabletop position. And I'm gonna turn my mat just a tiny bit so you can see me a little bit better here. All right, so back to the tabletop position. Hands are down right underneath the shoulder blades. We're gonna focus on that front leg to start. So taking that leg, reaching it nice and long here. Now pulling it back in. So stay square through the knees and the shoulders, really bracing the belly in. This time, try to find a little tuck through the chin. See if you can find even more length through the spine. The only trouble is if we lose it again, I'm gonna have no idea where I was in the tape. So this makes me worry that I totally gypped you on one side. Sorry. Keeping the leg nice and long, this time we'll extend and lower. Make sure you pay big attention to that lower back, that you're not collapsing and rounding through the spine. Only take the leg, paying attention to that range of motion, right? As high as your body will allow without moving that spine. Think about it like a little table, right? Take 2 more. Last one. Now hold the leg up, flexing the foot, pulsing towards the sky. Little micro lifts through the knee. Continuing to pull the shoulders away from the ears, just lengthening through the tip of that spine. Take 3 more. 2. Last one. Now take the knee in, curling it towards the elbow, and then we'll shift again, rotating towards the floor. This is that time when the spine will move, the knee will open, we'll externally rotate, good, and then round again, square to the floor. Good, stay with this. Gosh, I don't know if you can hear that wind. It's crazy. I'm waiting for a tree to come right through. Stay with that lift and lower. Last one, when you come to the front, take that knee, extending it long. So the leg is nice and long, toes are to the front. Perfect. Belly is braced in. All right? Now, even pressure between the hands, the knee, squareness through the hips and the shoulder. We're gonna lift and lower. Tiny little micro lifts, right? Turning on that hip. Good, staying with the lift. 2 more. And last one, take that leg, nice and wide around, squaring the hips one more time, shoulders are squared. Again, we'll take the chest, dipping it in front, and then bending at the elbows, extending. Now paying attention to the nice long line, right? From the chest all the way through the toe. Keep lifting and lowering for 2 more. And last one, coming all the way down towards the floor. Again, laying on that side. Perfect. Stacking through the knees, stacking through the hips, stacking through your shoulders, engaging the core, pulling the obliques in nice and tight, and then resting the head onto the arm to protect the spine. So one long line here. Perfect. Other hand can come here or here. We're gonna take that top leg to begin, just lifting and lowering. So you should feel that engagement right through the hip here as it opens and closes. Good, squeezing the inner thighs. Take 2 more. Last one, holding that leg up nice and high. We'll take the bottom leg, lifting it up just a tiny and lowering down. Tiny little lifts and lowers. Feel that strength that's hiding there. Keep that with you. Take 2 more. Last one, keeping that bottom leg elevated. We'll take the top leg, dropping it down, squeezing and lifting up. So again, feeling that resistance. Create work for your body here. Although I don't know how much more work we need because this is hard enough, but stay with that strength. Feeling the entire leg as it wraps around, those muscles, building our strength all the way from the in to the out. Many layers, right? Taking that leg down, dropping here, both legs to the floor. We'll lift and lower both legs together, up and down. Paying attention to that lower back. It doesn't get compromised as you squeeze. Good, stay with it. 2 more. Last one. Awesome, taking that forearm down to the floor. Elbow relatively underneath the shoulder. Now lifting up through the shoulder blades, bracing the core. I see a lot of words and I'm really hoping everything's okay. Sorry, this is so crazy today, guys. Now we're gonna, again, roll onto that butt cheek. So shifting our weight back, taking the legs up and down. Remember, you have the option to just bring the knees in if that feels better to you today. But pay attention to the shoulder blade, that you're staying out of collapsing in. Take 1 more up and hold here. Option to hold onto the leg if you need, dropping that bottom leg. So as you're shifted back onto that butt cheek, that hip kind of in between, I want you to continue to brace the spine, pulling it nice and long. Take 2 more. Last one, top leg comes down and lifts. Stay with that, you're almost to the end. Big breaths here. Good, both legs will slowly lower towards the floor, and we're gonna roll onto our backs. I want you to come all the way down for just a minute. We'll find a little bit of a stretch, and then we'll continue on. Maybe bringing the knees in, rocking yourself back and forth. That feels right to you. Now I want you to stretch the legs long, but keep that back leg in your hands and cross it over like you're coming to a figure 4 stretch. Bringing the foot as close to the floor as you can, and try to walk the knee kind of up to the sky, seeing if you can feel that stretch through the outside of the bum. Let that wrap into the hip flexor. Slow down the breath. Good, coming to the other side, taking that front leg in, flexing the foot, pressing down, really pressing the hips down. Take that knee and press it away. See if you can feel that stretch through the entire outside of the leg. Take 1 more big breath. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna come to a propped position. I'm gonna change my mat again so you can see a little bit better through my form here. So the elbows will be down today, And I want you to just bring the hands where it feels comfortable. They can be in next to the bum, they can be out like tented a little bit more, they can just be reaching out into almost more of like a goal post position, whatever works for you. What I care about though is the spine and the shoulders. So I want you to pull the shoulders away from the ears. So coming from here to really press up, okay? So you're lifting almost like you're squeezing the shoulder blades together in the back, like you're trying to put on a bra that's too small. Half of you will understand that. The other half, I'm sorry. So squeezing them back like you're puffing out through your chest like a big bird. How's that? Now brace the belly, pull the belly button into the spine, and really think of that corset right around the spine here, that lower belly, that powerhouse. Now take the knees nice and long and just gently tuck the tailbone under just a bit and feel that growing from the hips all the way up. Good. Now take the chin, tuck it, and look towards the toes. Look to your opposite direction. We're going to start by just lifting. I'm going to take my back leg to begin. I'm going to drag it up and then flex to the 45. Good. Touch down with the toe, flex to 45. So you're pointing as you bring it down, flexing as you lift up. Paying attention to the squareness of the hips, that you don't shift back and forth. Let just that movement happen from the knee if you can. So feeling almost that stretch through the hamstrings. We'll take one more like this. Coming to the 45. Now this time point the toes, drawing little circles here through the hips. Focusing on one direction to begin. Now how's that belly? How's that breath? Are you still breathing to the sides? If so, stop at the top. Come back around the other direction. If this is too much today, maybe just finding a little bit of a bend through the knee and just rolling through the hip that way feels better. I want you to focus on what works for your body and your range of motion today. Take two more. Last one, take that leg down. Continue to check in that the hips are square, spine is pulled long. We'll take the front leg, dragging the toe in, flex the foot to the sky. Toe will touch and we'll flex to the sky. Now, as you've been here, maybe you're finding that the shoulders are getting a little bit more tired. It is an active pose. I know it feels like we're kind of relaxing here, but we are still working that upper body to hold us up. So really try to brace the belly to support the shoulders, to support that squeeze, and hopefully not hold so much within the elbows, right? Continuing to grow the chin nice and long. When we come high, pointing through the toe, drawing that circle. Really bracing through the core to avoid too much shifting. Stopping at the top, switching directions. Staying within that breath. One more, lower that leg down. Perfect. Now we're going to add in both legs. So both toes will drag up, finding their way. Now we'll flex to the sky. Good. Pointing towards the floor. Flex to the sky. If this is too much, maybe perhaps the legs are just bending and coming a little bit more to a boat position today. That's okay. Listen to what your body needs. Take two more. Last one. Now we're going to take the toes, point them, finding a little bit of a hip circle here. You'll roll through the hips, continuing to brace the belly, reaching the spine nice and tall. One more to this direction. Now switch it up. Remember your choices, what works for your body today, and go there if you need to. We are almost to the end of this section. One more here. Now take the toes, slowly lower them towards the floor. Now let the head go as well. Nice long spine. We're going to roll through the spine just to release a little bit of stress here. So pointing through the toes, flexing the feet, whatever works for you. The arms come overhead. Brace the belly nice and tight. We'll start by taking the arms overhead, gently lifting the chin. The head, neck, and shoulders will follow as we roll through the spine and come forward into that forward fold stretch here. Find a big inhale, exhale. Just let go. Now I want you to take your back leg, cross it over the top. And again, continue to stretch forward. Keeping the legs at that crisscross position, we'll stack through the spine, bracing the belly nice and tight, pulling it in, okay? Now begin to tuck through the tailbone, lowering down one vertebrae at a time. The arms will circle overhead last. Now again, coming through, we'll roll up and find that stretch. Good, now switch legs. The other foot comes onto the top. Find that nice big stretch here. When you're ready, stack through the spine, rolling back one vertebrae at a time. All the way down, the arms come overhead. Staying with this roll up or adding in a roll over, we will come all the way back up to the mat. Reaching, finding our stretch, holding as long as it works for you. Now this time you continue to roll back as we've seen, or if you'd like to add in the roll over, please do so. We will come all the way back, scooping through the spine. The arms will stay down next to the body. The legs will begin to lift and roll overhead. Now when you get there, I want you to switch which foot is twisted and then roll back. I'm going to move away from the I'd say wall, but it's not a wall. So the other foot will then start on the top. When you're ready, we'll roll up, finding our way to that roll over position. Nice big stretch. Stacking through the spine, rolling backwards. Arms stay long next to the body. We'll start to tip ourselves back, landing on the shoulders, switching which foot is on top, and start to roll through the spine again. Legs will touch down, arms will rotate over, and we'll come back up. We'll take one more here. When you're ready, scooping, rolling through the spine. Arms stay down, chest starts to come back, legs lift over, switching, and rolling down. This time, leave the arms next towards the body, and we're going to keep that back leg crossed over the top. Legs continue to be long, pulling all the way from the shoulders, the hips, everything reaching down. Now we have that crisscross leg position. Arms are just going to rest long next to the body, and head and neck, shoulders, all that will stay down. We're going to begin by taking that top leg and squeezing to lift and lower. So really engaging the inner thighs, the outer thighs, that belly, our powerhouse, as we lift up and lower down. Take 3 more. 2. Last one, holding that leg up. We're going to take our bottom leg, lifting up just a tiny bit and lowering down. Really bracing through that lower back as we lift and lower. Last one, dropping down. Good. Taking that top leg now. This time, we will lift it to the sky, flexing as we come dropping back towards the mat, pointing to the sky. So really bracing the core here. You'll find that the leg's not stacked on top anymore. Now it's just hip width apart. And if you find that you have a little bit of like cracking through the hips, don't drop the foot so far. Don't take the knee, the hip, the leg, everything so close to the floor. We'll take one more here, and then when that leg comes to the sky, point through the toe, draw one really big circle, coming back to the top, switch directions. Really big circle, back to the top. Now again, switching, reaching, rolling, and around. Perfect, bracing the core. One more here, reaching, rolling, and back. Let that leg slowly lower towards the floor, and we'll take the front leg, crossing it at the ankle. You need to kind of roll through the back, finding a nice long spine, even footing, and when you're ready, that top leg will again squeeze and lift and lower, touching right towards the ankle again, crossing through the hips. So think about almost narrowing through the hips, squeezing those inner thighs together, so you can become almost smaller through the hips, but longer through the spine and the legs. Continuing to find that big umbrella breath. When you've had just enough, holding that top leg up, bottom leg will lift and lower. Tiny little squeezes, not trying to meet the legs. Take 2 more. Last one. Foot lowers down. That top leg will lift all the way to the sky, flexing, lowering down, coming in line with the hips and squeezing up. Good. Lowering and lifting, just waking up the hips, taking out that lactic acid, letting go of the buildup of tension, just releasing any stress that's hiding away. I think we're still good. No more new comments, so that's a good sign. When you've had just enough, take that toe, draw one big circle, and then when you get to the top, switch to the other direction. Good, really bracing that lower belly, circle around, and switch. Last one like this. And to the other side. Now take a minute, bringing both knees in, give yourself a nice big hug, rock yourself back and forth, letting go of any tension that you're holding on to. And then we're going to take our feet to the sky. So stacking the feet right over the hips, pointing the toes. I say pointing, I don't want them to be that ballerina point because I don't want you to find any pulled muscles or cramping within the foot. I want you to just find almost like that natural bend without gripping through the toes. So again, bracing the lower belly allows the legs to stretch tall here, over stacking from the hips. Arms can stay long, they can reach out to the side, or they can come behind the head, and you may want to lift the head, neck, and shoulders for a little added oomph. How's that? Now we're going to begin by taking one leg and dropping it down towards the floor, lifting it back up. Taking the other leg, dropping down, lifting back up. Now we're going to take that front leg, instead of dropping it towards the floor, we're going to take it out to the front, opening up, and then stacking. Back leg this time opens up, and then stacks. Front leg this time draws its circle in one direction, stacks. Now back leg draws its circle, stacks. Now switch directions, rotating out if you didn't last time. Hold in there, other foot. So you'll find while you do this that you want your opposite leg to not move. Starting from the beginning, take that leg, dropping it towards the floor, and back up, other foot. Good, now to the side. Try not to move that stationary leg. Other one. If you want to check in, you can keep the hands maybe onto the thigh and see, am I shifting? See if that feels a little bit more stationary to you. Other direction. Good, switching it up. Taking one more like this. Staying here. Continuing to think about lengthening all the way out, continuing through the legs. Not stopping just at those toes, but seeing the legs grow even taller, even longer. Rotating down and circling. Good, to the other. Now the other direction. I have one challenge for you today. Take a minute though before we go there. Take the knees in, releasing through the hips if you'd like. Now we're going to do the same exact thing, but from a 45-degree angle. So if it works for you, I want you to come there with me. If not, keep the legs pointed right to the sky. All right, so the toes are to the sky. If you're challenging with me, take the legs a little bit more towards the corner of the room. Drop that front leg. And if you want, you can lower the head, neck, and shoulders if it is just a little too much having that lift. Good, to the back. Drawing a circle down and around. Good, the other leg. To the top. One more here. Good, take a minute, squeeze those legs in. Nice job. So it adds just a little bit more when you take that leg to the 45, just extending away. All right, we're gonna come through with a little bit more. I have no idea where we are on time. For me, it looks like we're right around at that 45, but we did have the pause. So we're gonna add a little bit more bridge work, then some stretch, and we should wrap it up for today. I'm sorry again about the computer stuff. So when you're ready, take the feet in right behind the bum. So they're about 2 to 3 inches away from the bum. And the feet are stacked almost a little bit below the knee, maybe a little bit out. Now shoulders are wide. We're gonna bring the arms out into a goal post. So elbows are kind of, parallel to the shoulder. Fingertips are reaching away above the head here. Now we're gonna roll up one vertebrae at a time, lifting through the tailbone and coming up onto the shoulders. So one nice long line from the shoulders through the knees. If this is too much with the hands where they are, I want you to bring them down next to the body, or even if you need to, you can press through the lower back and kind of give yourself a little bit of a boost here. Whatever works for you. Taking a big breath in, I want you to start to scoop and roll down one vertebrae at a time, landing and just finding that peace, that stationary position. If you need to move the legs to a different spot, if that feels right, or widen through the shoulders, take the time to do so. And then tuck and roll and come right back up. So as you come up, you should find that you can still breathe here. If you find that you're collapsing the chin into the neck, into the chest here, then you might find it's a little bit harder. So I want you to widen through the shoulders and open up. Come back down again. Last time, we're going to roll up and we're going to hold here. So coming all the way up, just continuing to squeeze the back body, bracing the core. Feel that opening. Now stay there. We're going to shift the weight into the back leg, but keeping our hips nice and parallel to the floor, to the sky, shoulders nice and wide. We'll take the bend at the hip, bringing the knee in, stacking it over the chest. Foot will stay flexed here, and we'll press it away to the 45. Pulling the knee back in, and press away. If this doesn't quite work for you today, maybe you're coming a little bit higher to the sky, and that's okay too. Really squeeze through the back body. Taking one more out, I want you to flex the foot, or excuse me, point the foot to the sky and flex as we drop down to the 45. Pointing it to the sky and flexing down. Coming back up, lowering down. Last one to the sky, hold here, flexing the foot, pressing through the foot, pulses to the sky, squeezing the back body even more. 2 more. Last one, dropping the foot down to that parallel line with the other knee, pointing through the toes, draw tiny circles in one direction. One more breath stopping at the top, rotate, switching sides. And last circle, take that foot down, bending through the knee. We'll roll down one vertebrae at a time. Take that standing leg, that back foot, crossing it over, squeeze the knee in, finding that figure 4 stretch. Slow down the breath. Good, when you're ready, we have one more side to do. So we'll come back to that bridge position, the shoulders nice and wide, elbows out if it feels right to you. Gently tuck the chin, and then roll through the spine, lifting up from the tailbone all the way up through the shoulders. Take a big breath in, and roll back down. Turning on the back body, letting go of the front, roll your way back up. When you're ready, holding here, shifting the weight into that front leg, we'll take the back knee up, flexing through the foot, press away. Now again, adding in that tension, feeling like you are pressing through an object, maybe kicking something away, if it's the wall, whatever it is, make some space here. 2 more. On that last one, take the toe, we will point to the sky, flex as we drop back. Continuing to lift through the back body. Remember, you have some choices. Hands can stay in. They can even press to the bum if that feels a little bit better for you today. Last one, we'll stay flexing to the sky, pulse up, really squeezing that back body for 3, 2, last one, pointing, dropping down. We'll just draw some tiny circles. We're almost to the end. Well, I am. You're still going, sorry. Take it to the other direction. 2 more. Last one. Foot will touch down. Take the arms overhead and slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. We'll take the hands, wrapping them around the knees. Give yourself a little rock back and forth here. And then take that front leg, crossing it, squeezing in, finding that figure 4 stretch. Good, we're gonna take our legs to the sky for a minute here, bringing some blood back to the body, back to our hearts. Take the arms nice and wide, toes will be pointed, heels together, and we'll just open up, flexing, squeezing the legs back in. Just loosening up the legs a little bit more today as we begin to stretch to leave. Now switching directions, I want you to flex out and squeeze in. Take 2 more. Last one. Taking the legs to the sky, finding a nice big pull in through the knees, a little bit of a stretch. You may find the lifting through the lower back, almost like you're coming through a rollover. Just holding here, finding that stretch to the back, the hamstrings. Find a bend through the knees and rocking yourself up to a seated position. We're gonna come through with a shell stretch, starfish. So toes are together, heels are together, and just stretch yourself forward. Take one more big breath in. When you're ready, begin to roll up one vertebrae at a time and stack through the spine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so sorry with the computer. It is a little bit tricky with how things are working and running, and I can still see myself through the live video right now doing what looks like the other side of the back. So I have no idea when I'm going to turn this off and how it's going to work. Technology is not my forte, and it totally stresses me out. So I'm hoping that you still had a really good practice today, even with the losing the video and whatnot. So thank you so much for joining me. I cannot wait till we can be back together because I don't have to worry about any computers. Just have to worry about my music playing, right? So I miss you all. I hope you are well. If you are a mother or if you're my mother and you're still watching, I hope you all have an incredibly wonderful Mother's Day. If you have fur babies or real babies or babies in heaven, we are thinking of you and sending our love. And I hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. Looks like tomorrow will be even better. No more of this crazy snow stuff. So I'm going to just keep talking for a tiny bit longer in hopes that I turn this off at the right time. But anyways, I love you all. I hope you have the best day, and I'll see you all soon.